All right, welcome. Welcome so much. Thank you so much for being here on time. I just want to take a moment to connect with you. So I'm just going to kind of lean forward to look at beautiful eyes and faces of wise feminine beings who came here to be in connection with me, in connection with each other. Welcome, welcome. And yes, welcome, welcome. So what I'm going to invite you to do is be very interactive with me during this class, because I love live events. I love connecting live, and there's something about that limbic connection of women connecting together. Our bodies produce bonding hormones and relaxation chemicals, and so part of that is because of the interaction. So you're welcome to be completely relaxed and take care of yourself, and I'm going to be inviting you to interact with me. So what we're going to do first here is take a big breath together, just as a symbol of dropping in, and I'll direct you in just a moment. I've already lit my candle for those of you that have just joined. If you have a candle or an essential oil or something that just helps you really drop in, go ahead and light that candle. Go ahead and anoint yourself with that essential oil. I invited you all to unmute yourself because we're actually going to take a big, loud breath together, a big goddess breath together, and then you can mute yourself afterwards. So go ahead and unmute yourself, and we're just going to take a couple of breaths together. In a moment, you're going to inhale, exhale, just releasing anything that doesn't serve you in this moment. Kind of shake off your day, and we're all going to do that together a couple of times. So take a deep breath in. Shimmy, stretch. Maybe your body's holding some tension. Just taking a moment for a little self-massage, a little tending, a little care for any places that could just use a little more breath, a little more receiving. Probably coming from a busy day, so letting that kind of fade into the background, resetting your nervous system. Let's go ahead and just do that one more time. Deep breath in. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Thank you so much for playing with me. I'm going to invite you to now go ahead and mute yourself, but we're still going to stay very interactive. If you're on your computer, you have easy access to the chat box over on the side. And if you're on your phone, I think you can still chat with us. So I have 3 questions, and I want you to write yes if these questions, if you resonate with these questions. So please type yes in the chat box if you are ready to learn how to make money with your business with relaxed feminine principles. Are you ready to learn how to make money with your business with relaxed feminine principles? Beautiful. Terry says yes. Kavita, Denise, Michelle, Ivy. Oh, so good to see you, Ivy. Awesome. Ashby, Anna, Liz. Wonderful. Oh, Liz, I'm so glad I get to connect with you twice in one day. Hade, I'm so glad I get to connect with you twice in one day as well. Awesome. Thank you. Second question. Are you ready to create your business from a relaxed and supported place? Slightly different question. Are you ready to create your business from a relaxed and supported place? Yes. Kavita says yes. Sherry says yes. Geeta says yes. Awesome. Beautiful. Thank you so much for playing with me. And the final piece, the final question is, are you open to receiving? I almost want to say it like, are you open to opening to receive even more? Are you open to receiving? Beautiful. Terry says yes. Riata, thank you, says yes. Michelle, Vina, Veronica, Ashby, Ivy, thank you so much for playing with me. So welcome to this masterclass. I'm Jessica Hadari. I'll talk a little bit more about myself in a bit. This class is called 4 Feminine Paths to add 20,000 to 100,000 to your income. And I put in parentheses also this year, parentheses, what are parentheses? 4 feminine paths to add 20,000 to 100,000 to your income this year. And so obviously I'll be talking more about that. I want to first acknowledge you and just send you some love, because I want to acknowledge you for being the kind of women who are curious about the continuous evolution of your business. And what I find for myself is that my business is a deep part of my spiritual path, not only because it allows me to be in a healer, light worker role that I feel is very aligned with my soul path, but it also, the process of the growth that I have to go through when I'm growing my business is identical to the spiritual growth I've had to do in other parts of my life and will continue to have to do, because I happen to be, like you, a spiritual being in human form, in this human body. So I just want to acknowledge you for hearing the call, for being the kind of women who are open to your evolution, not only as a light worker, as a businesswoman, but as a spiritual being. And I'm passionate about this particular topic of feminine paths of business and profitable money-making paths of business for a couple of different reasons. I'm going to tell you a little briefly about my story, which I think will highlight why this is so alive for me. Let's just take a moment to take a breath. I know we can't hear each other now, but let's just take a moment to just take a deep breath in and out. I'm going to be inviting you to breathe throughout this so that we can stay connected with each other. If possible, have your video on so I can see your beautiful faces. It's always nice to look out and actually see actual eyes and actual faces of wise women. Take care of yourself. I'm repeating because we've had some new women join us. So please take care of yourself, water, bathroom when you need to. So I'm very blessed to have a profitable business. I have a business that is in the 6 figures. I have a full client load that is also like a fulfilling balance client load. I live in a beautiful home here in the hills in the Bay Area. And I have a wonderful partner, a wonderful son. Like, this is one of those moments in my life where it feels like pretty much everything is working. And I feel very, very grateful. Not that long ago, about 5 years ago, I was coming off of food stamps. And I had been on food stamps for 3 years because my body still grapples with some autoimmune issues. For those of you that have ever had chronic illness, you know the term new normal. So even now I operate on energy levels that are lower than before, which is why one of the reasons I'm so passionate about a feminine, relational, relaxed business. Because that's one of the ways that I actually take care of my body. You may notice that part of my face is paralyzed, and that's just some of the nerve damage from one of the nerve condition that I have. So just something that's kind of a physical manifestation of what I'm talking about. When I was on food stamps, there were days where I was too sick to get out of bed. Unfortunately, my son, who's now a wonderful, vibrant 17-year-old, he was, younger at that time. And he still has memories of his mom in pain, lying under the comforter, too sick to get out of bed, not really able to take care of him or be present with him in the way that I wanted to be. And that still brings up some sadness for him. And it certainly brings up sadness for me too, because as a mother, I want to show up fully for my child. I want to show up fully for my business, for my clients. And in that low point, it was just, that was definitely my low point. Some of the manifestations of why I think I was so sick and why I got to that low point wasn't just the illness. In my business, I had been operating as a lone wolf, right? I was a one-woman army, and I was going to save the world by myself, and I was going to build my business by myself. And I was suffering from the exhaustion of always being on, being in pursuit versus opening to receiving. This being always on includes nitpicking and looping on tasks that didn't even matter in the long run. Letting unrecognized opportunities pass by because I was so blinded by overwhelm and stress and then eventually illness. It's interesting because in the coaching world, in the therapy world, in the world of women light workers, there is an epidemic of women who are suffering from stress-related illnesses, including autoimmune stuff, digestive stuff, nervous system stuff. And I believe it's because we women light workers are in the birthing pains of learning how to create from a place of receiving versus go, 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 one woman army, fake it till you make it, you know, nitpicking, being type A, etc. These kind of masculine shoulds that we've taken on. I was also just suffering from isolation and aloneness because of my lone wolf tendencies versus support and collaboration. I was trying to work it out on my own. I was trying to manifest all by myself. The turning point was when I was at rock bottom, I had no point but to ask for support, not only around my health, but the beautiful thing that came out of that, like, really hard place of actually asking for support were some incredible sisters, some incredible collaboration. I had been working with single business coaches and that wasn't working. What I needed was to sit in deep soul circle with a variety of solution-oriented women, to get out of my own box, to get out of the box ideas that matched me, that matched my energy levels. I dedicated my life to self-care. I was like, okay, I can't keep focusing on money this way. That's clearly not working for me. So I decided to just devote my entire life at that moment to self-care, taking baths, taking walks in nature, drinking tea. This is my tea. And actually just sitting there and actually drinking tea, not being on my phone, not being distracted, not being, you know, doing all the things that we sometimes do when we think we're in self-care, to just sit and actually be in the meditation. Shortly afterwards, I had my first $5,000 month. Shortly after that, I had my first $10,000 month. Eventually, I had my first $20,000 month in my business. My focus was still on self-care. It was not on the rat race. My focus was on managing my energy. And eventually, that built into consistency. And now I have a beautiful business in the six figures that is entirely centered around collaboration and relationships. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So go ahead and just type in the chat box if any of this is resonating with you. If anything I'm saying is resonating with you, go ahead and type into the chat box. Let's see, Jeannie says, yes, working on receiving fully. Beautifully. Geeta says, yeah, this is awesome. Yay. Geeta, I'm so happy that you're here. Abigail, hey, so great to see you. I still have your earring. I need to mail that to you. Abigail says, yes. Ade says, from food stamps to chronic illness. Yes. Kavita says, yes. Awesome. So.
I just say something. I'm on my cell phone, so I can't do chats and all that stuff or I'll lose you.
That's okay, Nancy.
Yes, this resonates with me, especially the trying to do it alone and all that kind of stuff, and self-care while doing 3 other things. Anyway,
totally.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Thanks so much for your honesty. Beautiful. That's totally fine. If you can't chat, you can just be here with us in spirit. That's completely fine, or in visual range. That's completely fine. Venus says, beautiful. Being the lone wolf and struggling. Let me just move this over. In the past, open to receiving, not struggling. So beautiful to reconnect with you, Vina. Veronica says, yes. Yes to collaboration, says Riata. Awesome. Geeta relates with the autoimmune disorders. Yes. Beautiful. Deep feminine support. Evelina, so great to see you. All too familiar. Thank you. So we have a good chunk of time. I appreciate you for, committing to this kind of long chunk of time. We're busy women, so I am going to give you the best stuff I have in the time I have. And for those of you that want more, I will be letting you know how we can work together further. I'm not going to do any selling on this masterclass. I'm not going to do a pitch, but I will let you know about one of my offerings and totally just announce that. So that'll happen later. So my core message to you, my core thing that if I could have you just come away with, aside from the blueprints and everything that I'm going to give to you, is to let go of the lone wolf paradigm. This is a tired old paradigm, and what it leads to is the starving healer paradigm, and it leads to the starving woman paradigm. And apparently the sick woman paradigm as well. Those are tired old paradigms. This is all this coming together today. And you moving forward after this masterclass is all about women linking arms to come together, to co-create opportunities, to open to opportunities and clients and prosperity, and women mastering the art of resting and receiving, okay? Mm-hmm. I want to invite you to take notes as we go. Now, I'm going to invite you, I told you this would be interactive, to go into the imaginal realm. So I'm actually going to have you close your eyes, and I'm going to do this with you. If you're in a place where you can find a little power pose, go ahead and find a power pose with me. So I'm going to stand up. I'm going to take a little restful goddess pose. If you're able to come into your little goddess pose with me, your power pose, maybe it's a superwoman pose. Go ahead and come in. Thank you for playing with me, by the way. I love seeing all the, yay! Yay. All right, so here's what we're going to imagine. You can close or almost close your eyes if that helps. I want you to imagine that you are living this beautiful life, that it's easy to live in the Bay Area, that it's easy to thrive here. I want you to imagine that in this power pose and just breathe some aliveness into that. I want you to imagine that you're feeling nourished and cared for by your business. Take a breath into that. I want you to imagine that you're receiving true energetic nourishment from your programs and workshops and offerings out in the world, that you're receiving true nourishment from your clients because the money/effort/time exchange is balanced and nourishing. Take a breath into that. I want you to imagine that you have the support of a tribe of women who are dedicated to your work getting out into the world. I want you to imagine feeling ease and filling your practice, filling your programs. You have a relaxed schedule that allows for downtime and family time and also profitable, and that you're receiving whatever treasure maps you need to turn your beautiful ideas into money-making structures. So let's just take a moment to take a deep breath. And you can go ahead and open your eyes if they're closed and sit back down. Okay. So, oops, I better angle this so you can see me. There we go. Okay. All right. It's a beautiful day outside. I'm going to take another sip of water and then we're going to dive in. Okay, let's dive in. Here's what we're going to cover today. We're going to cover, we're going to skip around a little bit, but we're going to cover all of these. We're going to cover the number one way that wealthy women healers attract clients. So that, and this is something that you can also immediately start doing. I'm going to give you some homework. You're going to learn the blueprints. We're actually going to do some math. We're actually going to do some math magic. So please do take notes, because numbers and brains and spiritual women light workers, sometimes it all gets messed up. I'm actually not a math person. It was not my favorite subject in school, but there is something magical about numbers. And so I actually am going to be giving you the actual blueprints for creating offerings that emotionally connect to people. And I really believe that when we emotionally connect to people, is far more powerful and profitable than old salesy masculine models that we all are like, we're all kind of done with those. I'm going to give you 4 holistic business paths that will create spaciousness in your business and elevate your lifestyle. Now, each one of these are keys to doubling and measurably growing your business. So you don't have to focus on all 4 of these this next year. You could take 1 or 2 of these and refine them and make them your own. So I just wanted to presence that. Okay. All right. Oops. All right. There we go. As I mentioned, I'm not going to sell during this masterclass, but I will tell you briefly about my business mastery programs. I'm also going to answer all of your questions. We're going to open it up for Q&A towards the end. And at the very end of the call, I'm going to go ahead and give you a couple of bonuses, a little bonus material, excuse me, how to reach way beyond your current audience and establish yourself as the go-to woman leader in your field. So you have the current audience that you have now. How do you reach way beyond that audience to new audiences, new networks, new people to serve? And I'm also going to give you the key ingredient to touch more hearts and grow your following. Okay? All right. So let's take another moment to take a deep breath in and out. I do that as much for you as I do for me. So take notes. It's okay if you don't take notes. It's okay if you don't catch everything. So take notes if you can. All right. So I'm going to talk about the 4 feminine paths to add $20,000 to $100,000 to your income. But first, I want to talk about the 3 common mistakes that women entrepreneurs make. And I actually mentioned these before in my own story, but I really want to presence these because I see women doing these all the time. The first mistake is efforting and doing versus resting and attracting. Efforting and doing versus resting and attracting. I just wrote from my notes right into your chat box. Letting unrecognized opportunities pass by while blinded by overwhelm. When we are in contraction and overwhelm, we are in our patterns. We are in our box. And your ability to access your visionary self, your problem-solving self, your magnetic, attractive self, not attractive in the magazine model way, but attractive like people want more, people want to work with you, people are like, ooh, can I hire you? All that gets nixed when we're in efforting and stress and mired down by the to-do lists. So I guess my invitation is for you to take the reins of your physiology and the energy that you're running. The second mistake that I see, I also spoke about in my personal story, isolation and aloneness, the one-woman army versus support and collaboration, trying to work it out all by yourself, trying to manifest all by yourself, trying to fill your workshops by yourself, trying to fill your programs all by yourself, trying to figure out your next steps by yourself, trying to come into clarity by yourself. Because when we're like in our own ecology, like even if we're in a really expanded, beautiful, visionary place, we're still operating on like our own ideas and our own visions, which sometimes can be a little bit smaller than what other people see for us. Like you probably worked with a coach or something or a therapist in the past that saw or had a partner or a friend that saw so much in you, and in that moment you couldn't even see what they were talking about because they saw you bigger than you saw yourself. So isolation and aloneness is kind of reinforcing us just staying in our own box. So I will leave it at that because we're going to talk a lot more about collaboration later. The third piece ties into the first piece. It's almost like an elaboration on the first mistake. Exhaustion and being always on. In pursuit, it's almost like an energy of moving forward. These are my like T-Rex hands. Versus leaning back to receive, to be an invitation. So there's an energetic come from, but there's also the symptoms of this, which are often like nitpicking and looping on things that won't matter in the long run. I can't tell you how many women I've talked to that are like, I gotta fix my website. I have to change it all to blue instead of purple or nobody's gonna hire me. It's like we like to distract ourselves with these things that don't necessarily matter in the long run. Like I will tell you that you can build a 6-figure business without a website. We have a beautiful website, awesome. I do understand the importance of representing yourself. I'm just using this as an example that sometimes women out of a symptom of being in a stress response will actually start almost like a hamster wheel of tasks that don't actually need to be done. That looping is actually, when you catch yourself looping, that's actually a really great sign that you're in a stress response. And what you need to do, thank you, Hade, you need to take a walk in nature, take a bath, sit and sip your tea, whatever it is that allows you to reset your nervous system and come back into your center and back into yourself. Okay? Great. Thanks, Liz. Thank you so much. You've been in 2 and 3. Thank you so much for your honesty. I appreciate you for trusting and sharing. Gorgeous. Does anyone else resonate with any of these 3 little pieces? All 3? Yes. Thank you. Beautiful. Great, Michelle. Yes. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you so much, ladies, for... She says, Jeannie says, Jeannie says, I was in my obsessive list this afternoon. Kavita, yes, I've been in these 3 at different times. Sure. Deeply healing 1 and 3. Definitely feel the 2. Awesome, Terry. Good. I'm so glad you're here, Terry. Yay. Awesome. Okay. All right. So I want to talk a little bit more about the collaborative piece, because every single one of these 4 feminine business paths that I'm about to lay out for you, the thing that they all have in common is either that they are all relational. Every single one of these is relational. And most of them are, there's a collaborative element to them. So let me just build a case for collaboration for women coming together. So I help women build 6-figure businesses. I've been a business coach for 15 years. I do have clients that are already at the 6-figure level or beyond, and they're looking to get past those plateaus and build even bigger. And I also work with women who just want to earn a couple $1,000 extra a month so that they can stay at home, be a stay-at-home mom, have a relaxed schedule. So I work with a lot of different kind of women. And I do work one-on-one with women, but all of my clients are part of my business mastery circles. And the reason that is so is because there's something about a group of women coming together that normalizes our unfolding around pricing, our value, asking for money, being seen. It creates a culture where being a wealthy woman healer or a prosperous or abundant woman healer becomes the norm. When we're in isolation or maybe hanging out with family or friends that aren't really in the entrepreneur conversation, or they're in the scarcity conversation, it's easy to get dragged in that direction because that shadow material is heavy. So when we come together in circle or in group, it normalizes the culture, the psychology, the physiology of the abundant woman. And it also allows these women to create a business that's unique to their higher calling. So I can give some coaching, that's great, but I'm coming from my experience. And when we're in community with each other, then you're also like in circle with women, masterminding your business. In this example, it's like you're getting the input and the reflection of many different women, so that you can create a business that's unique to your calling. So, oh, thank you so much, Erin, for sharing, Geeta for sharing, beautiful. So let's see, let me do a little screen share here because I wanted to give a couple of examples of some women who just kind of turned their, let me, hold on, some tech here. Okay, here we go. All right, so I'm doing a screen share. Some of you are going to be able to see this, some of you are not. So this is lovely Khadijah. I'm actually going to talk about Amanda. Khadijah's been a wonderful part of our circle. You may have seen her speak at Fem Talks. Here's Amanda. So Amanda, when she first came to Fem Talks, which is the name of my business, She was a starving social worker. She did beautiful work. She was working with autistic children, like incredible work. But it wasn't really paying the bills. Like, I remember she had to sell her scooter to pay for rent one month. I mean, that was like her rock bottom, was just like, she just wasn't making much money. For those of you that know social workers or have been social workers, it can be a really rough career in the Bay Area. And there's also a lot of you're dealing with a lot of intense stuff. So Amanda is also an ordained medicine woman through several different indigenous paths. She's an ordained medicine woman through the Native American Church and a couple of other different lineages. So she's deeply passionate. And now she has a six-figure business as a medicine woman. So she went from being a starving social worker, and then she started to sit in circle with us and started to just ask deep questions, started to get input on how she could grow a business that was really spiritually in alignment with her. And it was like what I said earlier, when my mentor said, when I was on food stamps, when I was sick, when he said, hey, what you need to do right now is focus fully on self-care, and then your business will just happen. For Amanda, it was like, all you need to do is focus fully on collaboration and asking deep questions, and your business will just happen. So I wanted to share that because it's such a powerful story. I'm going to go ahead and just pause the share and come back to you. Oops. How do I... Hold on a second. I'm going to come out of that. Okay, awesome. So among the women that I circle with are medicine women, women who are hypnotherapists, acupuncturists, tantra teachers, women who have very unique businesses, and a lot of women who have been able to build six-figure businesses as these quote-unquote woo light workers doing very unique work. Because they are coming together as a tribe of women, a circle of solution-oriented women, and holding the keys for each other's answers and highlighting each other's unique right path to success. So we're going to do a little exercise here. Just a little exercise. I want you to go ahead and just for a moment, close your eyes. And I want you to just vision your ideal outcome around your business, just a little visioning. Now, this may or may not come easily for you, but just turning on that visionary part of yourself, breathing into the part of you that is the light worker, breathing into the part of yourself that is the mentor, the channel, the speaker, the leader, whatever resonates with you, that wisdom archetype that lives within you. And ask yourself this, vision your ideal outcome and ask yourself, if you had all of the support and tools that you needed, what would you create? If you had all the support and tools that you needed, what would you create? Whose lives would you touch? And I know most of you are sitting now, so you don't have to take a full power pose, but maybe just with your arms, just take a moment to just do a little reach or stretch. And just take a couple breaths of aliveness into that vision. If you had all the tools and resources that you needed, what would you create? Who would you touch? Okay. Thank you. I want to invite you to go ahead and just open your eyes and just share a jewel of what you just experienced. I would love to actually see some of your visions. Just real briefly, if you can kind of sum it up in a sentence or two, let's go ahead and get a couple of shares in the chat box. Share a jewel of what you just experienced. What did you see? What were you creating? Whose lives were you touching? Let's get into the visionary realm together before we start getting into math and blueprints. Beautiful, Veronica, a book on recovering from 2 fires. Wow, that's powerful. Denise, teach other therapists how to work more holistically and have more fun. Beautiful. Ivy, safety and permission to shine and be bold. Gorgeous, Ivy. Beautiful. Thrilled to be supporting progressive leaders in their health and wellness, and both in groups and workshops. A book on holding my dad as he passed. That's beautiful. I saw a circle outdoors with people sitting together and feeling amazing, lit up energies. Gorgeous. Abigail says, a 9-month program for sensual embodiment and womb heart healing and connection. Terry Moon, teaching online with folks all over the world, and I'd be writing daily and promoting books. Beautiful. Jeannie says, 6 female female patients per day, writing and getting paid for it, giving classes to women around healing the feminine, healing the pelvis. Powerful. Also saw a basketball court, not sure how that fits in. That's great. You're opening up to all the ideas. Gita says, I'm creating an online live community for women going through separation, divorce, after separation, divorce, how to love life after divorce for women only worldwide. Gorgeous. Reaching many women, speaking to children, supporting women to move past conditioning and low self-confidence, empowering women who ask for what they need and manifest their deep desires. Woo! Really powerful, powerful, wise women that you've chosen to circle with today. Gorgeous. I feel inspired. Thank you so much. Gorgeous. Thank you. I wasn't expecting so many shares, so I'm like, woo, I see your visions. That's awesome. Taking my work more consistently internationally. Gorgeous, powerful, powerful women healers here today. Just get the light going on here. Okay. All right. We're going to go into the blueprints now. This is why you're here. Let's go ahead and just take a moment to take a deep breath again, in and out. Okay. 4 feminine paths to add 20,000 to 100,000 to your income this year. Number 1. I'm going to take a drink of my water, take notes because we're going to be doing some math. Half of you on this call have already had some training in this arena. And I will say, because I've been through the same programs you've been through, a lot of those trainings came from a very frenetic, like high energy competitive place. So when I presence this first path, I want you to just know that Jessica's coming from a relaxed place. Because some of you are going to feel excitement, some of you are going to feel stress. So I just want to presence that. So the number 1, not in any order, this isn't hierarchical, but the number 1 I'm presencing, feminine path to add to your income this year is speaking. So when I say speaking, number 1, why? Speaking is deeply relational. Now, when I say speaking, I don't necessarily mean speaking at events like FemTalks or speaking at a TED Talk or being out on a physical stage. Some of you are excited about that kind of speaking, and I support a lot of clients who have very brilliant speaking businesses. But it can also be in your home office or your living room, sitting and leading a webinar. I have this beautiful top on. I've got my underwear on underneath. Okay, so just connecting in your underwear is what we want to call this piece. You don't have to write that in your notes. I actually have sweatpants on. I'm not actually in my underwear, but I have led webinars secretly in my underwear because it's all about being comfortable. So speaking, it's relational. Speaking is one of the most powerful ways to attract what I call divine right clients who are willing to go deep over time. Through teaching, speaking could be teaching, it could be sharing wisdom live and online. This could also be through workshops, through retreats. So think about all of the different ways that you can weave speaking into your business. There's a little bit of my notes there. Speaking is the fastest path to getting clients, one of the fastest paths to getting clients, and therefore immediate inflow of income because people can read your energy and they can feel your depth. And in the process, you're also being seen by other leaders, which leads to even more speaking and teaching opportunities. Women in one of my business mastery circles includes speaking at my events. So if you've ever been to a FemTalks event, you've seen the women speaking, those are my clients. And oftentimes they're giving a talk for the very first time, so it's not always polished, and it's a big deal, but they often tell me that they earn anywhere from $5,000 to $30,000 or more in subsequent sales each time they speak. So I'm going to break that down a little bit, because that would be awesome. Show up for a speaking gig and make $20,000, $5,000, $30,000. That's awesome. So let's do a little matharoonie here. You can write this down. I'm going to take a sip of water. Or tea. Take a sip of tea. Okay. So usually at my events, FemTalks events, there's usually about 60 women attending, anywhere from like usually 50 to 70 women attending, sometimes more, sometimes less, but usually about 60. So I want you to imagine that you're speaking to a room, or maybe it's a webinar or a workshop filled with 60 people. And that you look out into the faces of those people, and they're like your ideal clients. They're like the kind of people you want to be speaking to. And let's say that you decide at that speaking gig that you want to sell a one-on-one session, like an initial session, excuse me, for $190. Let's say 200 just to make it easy. Some of you are like, what? That's too little. Some of you are like, what? That's too much. But we're just doing easy math. We're trying to make math easy. So let's say you sell a one-on-one session while you're speaking for $200. And let's say a third of the women in the room buy that one-on-one session. That means 20 women, 20 people buy your one-on-one session. So that's $2,000. You just spoke to 60 people. You offer, hey, I want to offer you a one-on-one session. Today it's $200. Let's say 20 people buy that session. There's $2,000 right there. Now, as you go into those one-on-one sessions over the next couple weeks, over the next few weeks, over the next month, you have those one-on-one sessions. Let's say that 10 of those women are a great fit for your 6-month program. Let's say you have maybe it's 6 sessions, maybe it's 12 sessions, whatever. You have a 6-month program. Let's say 10 of those 20 people who purchased your one-on-one session, 10 of them are a great fit and they say yes to your 6-month program. Okay, so let's do the math here. If you're, let's say that you're, let's do it like this. This is easy. So 6 months, let's say each month has 4 weeks in it. So, and you do a session with them once a week. We'll do the therapist model. So once a week, you're working with this client for 6 months. 4 times 6 is 24. Let's say it equals 150 a session. 150 session times 24, it's 10 clients. That is, if you're not following the math, that's okay. I've got it pre-written down here, girls. Woo, that is $36,000 from those 10 clients who sign on to your 6-month program. Now, you already made $2,000 the day of your speaking gig, right? And then you enrolled these 10 clients into your 6-month program. That's almost $40,000 from one speaking gig. So that's kind of the math magic of how speaking can be incredibly lucrative. If you got lost a little bit in the math, don't worry. I'm going to give you some examples here. So that'll be a little bit easier, a little bit visually easier. So I'm going to go ahead and do another screenshot here. And now I'm going to show you, there's Khadijah again. Hi, Khadijah. I'm going to show you Miss Usha. So Usha is an author and a spiritual mentor. She's spoken at FemTalks several times. So she's been part of my business mastery circles several times in a row. And the last time she spoke at FemTalks, 15 women signed up to work with her one-on-one. Like ultimately 15 women ended up signing on for her like deep dive package. So I'm not going to do the math, but it's really incredible. It just kind of highlights how speaking is such a powerful way to just make a connection, to relate, to have people feel your heart, to have people hear your message and be touched by it and be like, you know what, actually, I want to hire you as my coach or my therapist or my mentor or my healer, or whatever label resonates with you. Susan Kirby, she also has been part of my business mastery circle. She actually has moved, so she's not part of the circle now, although I do have women in my circles who don't live in the area, but she spoke at FemTalks several times. The last time she spoke at FemTalks, what she did was similar to the model that I laid out. She gave a beautiful talk. She sold a mini package, which included a bunch of different things, a mini package for about like $197. Included in that package was a ticket to her workshop. So those women went to her workshop, and let's see, 10 of those women signed up for her $6,000 program, which meant from that one speaking gig, she made $60,000 by connecting, by relating, by women purchasing a package that they resonated with, women getting so much out of that package and out of her workshop that they were like, yes, I want to sign up for your year-long program. So I just want to highlight a little bit of the math, and then we are going to move on here. Hold on. Sorry, it takes me a moment to navigate the tech. I'm not, forgive me, I'm not a tech person. Here we go. Okay, awesome. Thank you. So let me talk a little bit about some of the tools that you need to have in place, that if you're out there teaching webinars or speaking, some of the tools that you need to have in place so that that is actually relaxed and profitable. Number one is you need to have an invitation-based talk template. So there's a way to give like a TED Talk, which is very different than giving an invitational talk, a relational talk. So do you understand that TED Talk is different than an invitational talk, a relational talk? And that talk that you create has to be a match for your personality. It has to be a match for the unique type of client that you're wanting to attract. So this is, again, different than TED Talks, different than a motivational speech. It's even different than like a workshop, like a long drawn out workshop. It's like, what do you say that deeply resonates with the people in the audience that has them feel like, oh, I want more? The second tool that you need is an offer template. Your offer is what you say and also what you don't say in the exact moment where you're either asking for money, right? You're selling that one-on-one session, or you're selling that little mini package like Susan Kirby did. You don't have to sell when you speak. Like today, I'm not doing any selling. So it might just be inviting them to find out more. What do you say and what do you not say in the exact moment where you're inviting them into your world, inviting them to work with you, find out more, or to pay you? And this template, this offer template, changes based on whether you're giving a 20-minute talk versus when you're giving an hour-long workshop. So even if what you're offering is an incredible deal, and you still have to lovingly get past the barriers of people actually filling out a registration form and reaching down and opening their purse and getting their wallet out and taking their credit card out and trusting you enough to write down their credit card information on the registration form and coming to your table and giving you the there's like all these hoops that people have to climb through. And the ingredients that need to be in there in your offer are intimacy and trust. Trust and intimacy. Trust and intimacy. So you have to emotionally connect to the audience in order for this to happen. So having a proper offer template will help you stand in your value and make what you're offering just feel like a natural next step. The third tool that you need to have to make the speaking parts of your business work, to make them, to have them be profitable and relaxed, is there's also a very specific way, speaking of registration forms, if that's something that you end up using, there's also a specific way to set up your registration form, or to set up that moment where they click the thing, or they click the buy now button, or they sign up on the clipboard. There's a specific way to set that up. So to be completely transparent, recently, some of my clients, I was able to witness some talks that they gave, and their registration forms were like a little messy and confusing. So I recently just did a whole training with them specifically on registration forms. And that's something that my clients got access to so that they could really streamline. One of my clients, Alexandra, I don't have a beautiful picture of her today. One of my clients, Alexandra, her registration form was a little bit messy, but I gave her some pointers, and the next week she gave that same talk at a different location, and it went really, really well. She got a ton of signups. So just little things like that. Your talk template, your offer template, your registration form, those little things can make a huge difference in people saying, yes, I want to sign up with you. Yes, I want to be your client. So let's just take a moment to take a deep breath. I want to invite you to go ahead and unmute yourself. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Take off the mute. Unmute yourself, because we're going to take a loud breath together. Unmute yourself. All right, let's go ahead and take one of those big, delicious, loud breaths together. Breathing in. Shake off if you need to. Release anything that doesn't need to be here right now. We're going to switch gears. We're going to talk about the second feminine path to add 20 to 100,000 to your income this year. Any introverts in the house? Introverts in the house, you can raise your hand or chat in the chat box. Yes. I know that when I'm out, like in this moment, even though I'm in my living room or whatever, my office, what is this called? I'm still out. I'm still like with kind of out energy because I'm connecting with you. I'm the one that is like giving the information. And when I'm out at my events, I'm very like loud and gregarious and animated. But I'm actually an introvert, partially because of the chronic illness that I was telling you about. This kind of autoimmune, new normal, that's just part of being in this human body. And, oh, beautiful. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Veronica. Awesome. Thanks for all of you that raised your hands for the introverts. But I think also on a more deep personality level, I require a lot of alone time, a lot of downtime to recharge. So this next feminine path is, I think, even more feminine. And it's email marketing. Now, I say it with that voice because when I say email marketing, it's like, wah, wah, wah. It can feel dry. We've all gotten emails that feel salesy and gross and like, wah. But this is the number one way I grew my business and attracted clients when I was sick, because I did not have the energy to lead webinars. I did not have the energy to go out and do speaking gigs. I did not have the energy to go out and lead introductory workshops, etc. I didn't have the energy to go out and network. So we laughed a little bit earlier about making money in your underwear. Email marketing is like the ultimate making money in your underpants. I put that in the chat box so you can make a t-shirt out of it. So I'm going to talk more about like actual heart-based email marketing. So when I'm talking about email marketing, I'm talking about like almost like a beautiful prayer or a beautiful affirmation or a beautiful vision that you are like summoning from within yourself and putting out into the world through the vehicle, through the vessel of email. Email marketing is incredibly relational. It's incredibly relational because you're using this opportunity, this beautiful medium of written word, almost to like cast a spell, but in the most beautiful, like white light kind of way possible. That in reading your email, people feel like you're speaking directly. Ideally, people feel like you're speaking directly to them. It should feel like an invitation to a party. So we're going to do a little bit of math in a moment. Oh, math. We're going to do some math in a moment. But I want to talk first about some of the tools that you need to have in place for email marketing to even work. So let me take a little sip-ola here. Number one tool that you need to have for email marketing to work is an email list. And we could do a whole masterclass on email lists, MailChimp, ConvertKit, Constant Contact, like all the different ways you can set up an email list. It can be a little tedious, but there are some wonderful platforms out there like MailChimp, like Constant Contact, like ConvertKit that make it pretty easy to set up by yourself. And if you're not a tech person, you can have someone do that for you. The second thing that you need for email marketing to work is, although, wait, let me back up. I have seen some beautiful invitational emails that were not part of like an email campaign where somebody just like personally emailed me and said, hey, Jessica, you know, I have a new circle opening up or a new program I'm birthing, or I'm teaching a workshop and I actually think this would be perfect for you. Would you like more information? So you can also, if you just have access to email, which all of you do because you're all here because I emailed all of you, you can also do, there's a lot you can do without MailChimp or Constant Contact or any of those platforms. So I wanted to presence that too. The second thing you need for good email marketing, ideally, is sometimes called an opt-in or a client magnet. And let me just write that in because it's people like, what'd she say? This is like a free giveaway gift. So if you've ever gone to a website and when on the first page, it's like, it might say sign up for my newsletter, or might say, you know, receive this free activate your heart jumpstart kit. We've all been on websites where we've seen some kind of awesome free gift. I don't have examples here, but for those of you that might be in the process of putting together some kind of awesome free gift on your website, here are the 3 ingredients that make for a really great opt-in. So this is a little bonus material right here. So if you want to create a free opt-in or free client magnet on your website, it needs to be immediately digestible. So whatever it is, maybe it's a video, maybe it's an audio, maybe it's a little guide. It has to be immediately digestible, not too long. It's got to just, must be able to immediately kind of consume it. So it's maybe a very short video, a very short audio, a very short guide, the 5 keys to have more love in your life, or the 3 gateways to living your spiritual path, whatever. The next ingredient is that it needs to immediately establish you as the expert. So maybe there's some testimonials right underneath where they sign up. Or maybe there's a beautifully written bio with your picture, your headshot is right there on the thank you page once they sign up. Immediately establishes you as the expert. The third ingredient that makes an awesome client magnet is that it immediately leads to a next step. Hey, check out my book, or come to my webinar, or come to my event, or here's the calendar for my upcoming workshops. That they consume the delicious free gift that you've offered, and then they're immediately invited into something, like into a natural next step, okay? I'm not gonna spend any deeper on this, but it can be really helpful to have a client magnet. And then you can have your clients and your colleagues and your friends. I think I spelled colleagues wrong. You can have your colleagues share it out to the world. It's a fabulous way to grow your email list, is to have an awesome opt-in and say, hey Liz, hey Terry, hey Kavita, hey Riata, I have this awesome gift. I think it'd be perfect for your women, your network as well. Would you be willing to share it to your email list? So that's a great way to grow your list. It's like relational and collaborative, super easy. Well, easier said than done, but comparatively easy. The third tool, so we're going back to the tools that you need to make email marketing feel heart-based and also profitable, that you need to construct emails that emotionally connect to people. Some business coaches and business programs will call this sales copy or marketing copy. I like to call it humanity-centered invitations, humanity-centered marketing, where you are connecting with their hearts deeply, like in a real way, not just using words and being fancy, but like you are really feeling into what you truly want to invite them into. And what you know that they need and what you know that they want. So there's two more tools. You also need to have your enrollment call dialed in. Now we're going to go do some math and then we're going to come back to this tool. So let's go ahead and do some math. And we're going to come back to the enrollment call and why that's so important. So I'm going to take a sip of my stuff. Oh, you can mute yourselves again if you want to. We did that big breath. Okay, math. So let's say that you have a program of some sort that costs $1,000. I'm going to put it in the chat box this time. And let's say that you send, well, let me tell you about how I have often filled my programs. Because I mentioned that I was really sick and I couldn't go networking, I couldn't speak, I had to do everything online. So one of the most powerful ways that I filled my own programs during that time is that I had a program that was about $1,000. I gave a beautiful name to that program. Like, it was a delicious name. I think it was called like Goddess on the Rise or something like that. And it was also a business mastery circle, but it was like a previous version. And so I sent that out to my email list. I had an email list at that time of maybe about 3,000 women, because I had been previously had a thriving business, but then I got sick. Sent my email out to 3,000 women, and 400 women ended up opening that email, which isn't a lot, but whatever. That's awesome. 400 people were like, okay, cool. Now, of those 400 women, 12 ended up scheduling a phone call with me to find out more, because my invitation wasn't to sell that $1,000 program from an email. That would feel very salesy. Be like, give me $1,000 right now. You barely know me. It was like, hey, I have this awesome like Goddess on the Rise circle. I have some spaces available. Here's what you're going to learn in the circle. If this speaks to you, go ahead and click my scheduling link and let's just hop on the phone. No pressure. I'm just going to give you all the information you need. I'm going to answer all your questions and see if it's a fit. Of those 12 people that scheduled, 8 women ended up being a yes, which means from that one email, I made $8,000. Now, let's say, the next time I did it, maybe about 6 months later, I ended up raising the price of the program to $2,000. So you can imagine if I rinsed and repeat $2,000 program, the 8 people buy, that's $16,000 from one email. Hey. So there's the math. Now let's talk about the tools again. The tools you need to make email marketing work. We talked about having an email list. We talked about having a client magnet so you can grow your email list. We talked about creating emails that emotionally connect to people, speaking to people's heart, from your heart to their heart. And the fourth tool is you need to have your enrollment call dialed in with this model that I just mentioned of invitation to my program or my package. Click the scheduling link to find out more. During that call where they're finding out more, this is the phone call. You might call an intake call or a discovery session. What do you say and what do you not say to potential clients? Because a lot of people on their enrollment calls do way too much of the talking instead of weaving in more curiosity and asking questions. So you need to have your enrollment call dialed in. One of the trainings that I give to my clients is called How Amanda sells her $10,000 packages without being salesy. How Amanda sells her $10,000 packages without being salesy or pushy. Now, Amanda, I already shared with you about Amanda. She was a starving social worker, and now she has a 6-figure business as a medicine woman. She led this training. I recorded it, and now I have all of my clients watch it. It's a short video, but she takes us through step by step, exactly what she says and why she says it at every moment in that enrollment conversation. It's mostly asking deep questions. It's very much about listening. And that is how she sells her $10,000 programs. She also has programs that are, you know, $1,000, and she has, you know, individual events that are, you know, under $200. So she serves many different women, but she's a medicine woman, and she sells $10,000 packages. There is a way to do it that is curiosity-based, that is heart-based. So you need to have your enrollment call dialed in. Oh, that's all the tools for that one. Let me go ahead and give you a little client story about a woman who has built a very incredibly inspiring business through her email list. So let me go ahead and share this with you. So let's see, we've got Tara Christoph. Tara Christoph is part of my business mastery circle. Now, this is actually, to be honest, this is before she joined my circle. This is what she did. So I just thought this was so awesome. I love to pass it on to you. She ended up, to grow her email list, she ended up creating a summit. Most of you have seen these summits. There might be, you know, 5 or 10 or 20 different, you know, luminaries that come together to speak about a specific topic. And usually the summits are run online. So what she did is she lined up a bunch of awesome women that she was connected to. She did interviews with each one of them, and she shared the summit, and each one of those women also shared the summit with their email lists. Now, some of the women who she was interviewing had email lists of 5,000, 10,000, 50,000 subscribers. Like, she had some women that she was interviewing that were very connected. And so you can imagine, with all of those women spreading the word about this summit, how many people that would attract. Tara ended up growing her email list by thousands of subscribers. And then from there was able to do some heart-based email marketing and fill her programs, and she has a full client load. She also has a $10,000 program, but works with clients on different levels. So having an email list and then heart connecting with that email list is a powerful move, and you can do it all from the comfort of your home office, from your laptop. It's awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and stop our screen share. Come back to you, my dears. I can see your lovely faces. So let's just take a moment. I keep going to the wrong place. Bear with me. Tech. Let's pause here. I have obviously some more information to give you, but I want to just check in and just you type into the chat box what resonates with you so far of what I was saying: speaking, email marketing, any of the other tidbits. I'd love to just get a sense of like what's lighting up for you. And you can just type right into the chat box. Okay, great. Awesome. Abigail says, feeling inspired about the potential in email marketing. Awesome. Speaking does for sure. Not feeling the email. Perfect. That's perfect. Some of these are going to resonate more than others. Email's not my thing. Maybe it could be better. I love the idea of a wealth summit. Sherry, I think you're onto something. Wealth summit. That'd be awesome. I'd sign up for that. Terry says, love it all. Sounds way more doable than this time last year. Awesome, Terry. That's so great to hear. The idea to invite to a conversation to talk about the program. Yes, the enrollment call. That is one of my favorite parts of business, because I get to drop in and deeply connect with women. And I'm always so inspired by what women are creating. Gorgeous. Thank you so much for sharing. Awesome. 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 Okay. So let's take a breath. 4 feminine paths to add 20,000 to 100,000 to your income this year. Number 3. Number 3. I want all women healers to get off of the hamster wheel of getting paid only by the hour. And I want all women healers to get off the hamster wheel of only working one-on-one with people. So I'm going to write that in my little box over here. The third feminine path is offering group programs versus only one-on-one. Now, I think most of you are already on board with this, but I'm always surprised by the number of women who are only doing one-on-one work with people. Why? It's group programs are relational. Every single one of these feminine paths is all about relating. So this will also be an alignment for you, doing group work, circles, groups, group programs versus only one-on-one. This will also be an alignment for you if you prefer to do deeper work with clients. Clients that commit to work with you over a period of time get so much more out of your wisdom. And also they get so much out of the support and community and tribe that they feel with the other people in your program. There's tremendous amount of information that we receive when we come together with a common intention and prayer, right? We are holding highest intentions and prayers together. Something really powerful happens. You probably have all experienced that before. So let's do some math. We're going to do some math. I'm going to give you some tools. I have to get more fluids in me. Okay, so I have had clients in the past who are licensed psychotherapists, and usually what they seem to say, give or take, is that a full client load, and they're working one-on-one with people, full client load is about 21 clients. That 21 clients, give or take, equals a full practice. What that means is about 3 clients per day with a 4-day work week. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and type this in. So this is the one-on-one model through the traditional psychotherapy lens. A lot of psychotherapists charge around $150, give or take. We're going to use $150 because it's easy to do math with. And let's say each of those clients come twice a month. So each client, each of those 21 clients is paying you $300 a month. So you've got 21 clients, you're doing one-on-one work with them, and those clients are paying you approximately $300 a month each. So that equals about $6,300 a month, working 4 days per week. Not too bad. But in the Bay Area, even that can feel a little squished, a little tight. But some of you might be like, ooh, that's awesome. So this model may actually be really resonant with where you are. So I also want to say, hey, it works for some people. I'm going to talk about the group model for a moment. We're going to do some group math. So let's say that you have 2 women's circles, 2 circles of women, and there are 12 circles and 12 women in each circle, okay? So you have 2 circles of women, and each circle is 12 women. That equals 24 clients. So it's about the same, 21 clients, 24 clients. We're just trying to do easy math here. Let's say that those women also pay, let me back up. Those circles meet twice a month. So one circle meets every other week. One circle meets every other week. That's twice a month. The other circle also meets every other week, twice a month. So basically you're working 4 days per month, not 4 days per week, 4 days per month. You're facilitating these circles, okay? And these women are also paying you about $300 a month, about $300 each, okay? So you've got 24 clients. They're circling with you a couple times a month, which means you've got a 4-day work month. Not that you can't work more, but 4-day work month. That equals $7,200 a month, and you're only working 4 days per month, not per week, per month. Hi. Now, obviously, some of you are going to charge more, some of you charge less, some of you might have smaller, more intimate circles. Maybe you only want to run 1 circle at a time. So this is just like math that is easier for our brains to connect to because I'm using mostly even numbers. But I just want you to see the difference between 21 clients, one at a time, and like a group of people. Not that you can't also do some one-on-one work, but there's the math for you. Irrefutable. Okay. Tools. Some of the tools that you need to have in place for the group model to work. Number one, you need to develop, price, and position your program. You need to develop the circle, find the sweet spot of pricing for your circle, and also learn how to position your circle. It really helps if you have a
so hard to hear, John, when you're on the phone in the next room.
I'm gonna mute her. There we go. Okay. Okay. So it really helps if you have a fourth, fifth, eighth pair of eyes on what you're creating. So when you're creating your group program, run your ideas by other people. Do some market research with the kind of people who would actually want to be part of your program or your circle. One of the biggest mistakes that I see that I didn't mention above, one of the biggest mistakes I see women make that's heartbreaking, I've made this mistake in the past, is creating a beautiful program that doesn't quite emotionally connect to people, or creating a program but then not positioning it in a way that people actually purchase it or understand how valuable it is. So that positioning piece, the pricing, developing it so it has components that the people that you're wanting to attract actually want. So it really helps if you run your ideas by other people and do a little bit of market research. And then the second tool is really a question, and then I'm going to answer it with what we've already learned. The second tool to a thriving group program is, well, how do you fill a group program? How do you fill a thriving program? Well, powerful way to fill a group program: speaking, email marketing, but also tribal marketing, collaboration, and we're going to talk more about that in a bit. Speaking, email marketing, tribal marketing, which you could also just call collaboration. Those are all powerful ways to fill a group program. Let me give you another client story here. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my little screen share. There's lovely Tara. We're going to go ahead and go to lovely Laura Cornell. So Laura, when I met Laura almost 20 years ago. We were both yoga teachers at the time. We were both starving yoga teachers at the time. Laura was like, she would have yoga classes out of her house in Emeryville, and I was one of her teachers. We trained at the same the Kripalu Center in Massachusetts, so we knew each other through that world. And she had these little tiny yoga classes in her living room, and I was one of the teachers that would come teach the class. Like if she wasn't able to, I was like one of her substitute teachers. So I met Laura a million years ago. She was like starving yoga teacher. She ended up developing group programs for women yoga teachers. And as her business began to grow and she became more profitable, then she actually began to build group programs for women, teaching them how to make money as a yoga teacher, which was like a mystery for most of us. She had clients that were able to build six-figure businesses as a yoga teacher. She, like Tara, also led several summits. She brought together renowned yoga teachers to come together for these beautiful divine feminine yoga summits. And she grew her email list to like tens of thousands of subscribers, and eventually had these beautiful retreats and these beautiful like 3-day events. And now she's writing her book. She's been part of my business mastery circles for a couple of years now. She gives beautiful talks, but she has a multiple six-figure business now, helping women healers find their message and be in their leadership. She's like a leadership coach now. So I find that group program models work really well for women in my circle. Remember that I said that I help women build six-figure businesses, and I also help women earn a couple thousand extra dollars a month if they're just wanting to work part-time or be a stay-at-home mom or have a more relaxed schedule. The group program model really, really helps. It really, really helps. So let me go ahead and come back to you so I can see your beautiful faces. Here we go. Awesome. Okay. Get all my tech here. There we go. Okay. So we just talked about speaking, email marketing, and group programs as three of the feminine pathways. In just a little bit, I'm going to talk more about some of the skills and tools that you need to have in place for these paths to work. We're going to kind of do a little recap. At the end of the call, I'm going to give you some bonuses. I'm going to talk about the fourth feminine path, because there's four of them, the fourth feminine path to add 20,000 to 100,000 to your income, and how to reach way beyond your current audience and establish yourself as the go-to leader in your field. I'm also going to talk about the key ingredient to touch more hearts and grow your following, and then we're going to go into some Q&A, okay? So speaking, email marketing, and group programs versus only doing one-on-one. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath together. Again, big breath in and out. Okay, so let's do a little recap of some of the business structures that you must have in place in order for this to work. And I want you to pay attention. If there's any part of you that was kind of like, you know, getting distracted or whatever, go ahead and bring it back. Take good notes here, because I'm actually going to have you do a little chat box exercise in a moment. So go ahead and just note whichever of these kind of are highlighted for you. So some of the big business structures that you must have in place in order for this to work. Some of the skills and tools you must have in place. Here we go. So the first thing we talked about was actually having a invitation-based talk template. When we were talking about speaking, having a talk template that emotionally connects to your audience, that energetically aligns with your personality, because not all talk templates are right for every single woman. You also need to have your offer dialed in. Sometimes this is called your irresistible offer, and that is, again, the way that you talk about your program so that people are compelled to work more deeply with you. What do you say right there in the front of the room or right there on the webinar to stay connected to the audience, to maintain intimacy, to stand in your value, to communicate what you're offering is just a natural next step for people who actually want to do the deeper work with you. How do you inspire people to understand that the investment is valuable? My clients actually get a blueprint for their irresistible talk and their irresistible offer, and the key ingredients that must be there to inspire potential clients to say yes. In terms of the email list piece, we talked about you need to have an email list of some kind. You need to have access to email. You need to have a client magnet. We talked about the three ingredients of the client magnet, that it's immediately digestible, establishes you an expert, leads to the next step, and have your colleagues share that client magnet loud and proud out in the world. You need to be able to create emails that emotionally connect to people. Humanity-centric, invitational emails. And then finally, and we're going to talk about this more in a moment, you need to have a solid team of what I call cheerleaders, cross-promotion sisters, collaborators who've agreed to promote your offerings out into the world, whether that's your client magnet, your opt-in, or whether it's your program, or whether that's your upcoming speaking gig, your upcoming webinar. That these are people that have agreed well ahead of time to promote your offerings out into the world. And it could even be by sending a solo email out to their email list, in addition to Facebook posts or Instagram or any of that stuff, which means you need to be connected to a bunch of people who have email lists, who have a following. So one of the most valuable parts of my business mastery circles are the networking lunches. Every month I host a networking lunch. Imagine, I want you to just imagine standing up, announcing to a group of women there who are there for the sole purpose of collaborating with you. These are women, some of these women have email lists of 2,000, 10,000, 50,000 subscribers. Imagine if any of them were to promote your upcoming workshop. Yes, you can add $30,000, $60,000 to your annual income just through tribal marketing, just through collaboration. Collaboration is also a great way to connect with additional speaking opportunities, right? So like the women I work with, a lot of them are speaking all over the Bay Area, some of them all over the country. And to be able to heart connect with those women and say, hey, would you be willing to introduce me to your favorite meetup organizers or the person who ran the conference that you spoke at last year? So being in heart space with collaborators, with what I call your solid team of cheerleaders and strategic partners, is also a great way to connect with additional speaking and teaching opportunities. We already talked about the enrollment call. Awesome. Oh, the final piece, the final two pieces, the final tools that you need to make all this work is you do need to have some kind of, with the group program, you need to have a deep dive program designed that people can step into as a natural next step. Another option, if you don't have a deep dive program, is to have a little stepping stone program, a little mini program that you can invite people step right into right then and there. And finally, you need to have your pricing dialed in so that everything in your business feels like a natural progression, that you also need to be energetically aligned with your pricing. So there might be some work that you need to do around standing in your value and normalizing for yourself being a prosperous light worker. I'm going to repeat that again. There might be some work that you need to do around standing in your value and normalizing being a prosperous light worker, which is part of the power of coming together like this, part of the power of being part of a mastermind, because you're sitting in live limbic resonance with other women who are maybe a couple of steps ahead of you. You're normalizing prosperity into your consciousness and your energy and your mind-body being. So let's take a breath into that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open up the chat box again. This is the chat box exercise I was telling you was coming up, so hopefully you took good notes. Type in which skills from the list above that I just gave, which skills you know you need to learn or refine. Any of the skills I just covered, which do you need to know or refine? Do you need to have your pricing dialed in? Do you need to develop a program? Do you need to have your group enrollment, your enrollment call, that one-on-one call that heart call that you have with people? Do you need to have that dialed in? Do you need to build your team of cheerleaders? Do you need support around emails that emotionally connect with people? Do you need help building your email list? Do you need to have your offer, your talk dialed in? Any of those things that we just touched on, go ahead and share. Awesome. Veronica says, building my email list. Evelina Rose, deep dive program, apprenticeship program. Yes. Looks like I need all of it. Sherry says, develop a deeper program that matches what I'm doing now. Beautiful email and list. Ivy says, develop a program for the perfect audience that truly supports them. Veronica says, team of cheerleaders. Kavita, enrollment call, group program details. Awesome, Kavita. We'll connect about that for sure. Dial in my pricing of group programs, enrollment call, pricing dialed in. Awesome, gorgeous. Oh, and more came in. Talk, email list, maximize power, client magnet on my website, speaking gigs, deeper dive. Oh my gosh, awesome. I'm just gonna sit here for a second and take all this in. Beautiful. Oh, thanks, Riata. Mwah, love you. Awesome, Abigail. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your honesty. I appreciate that you feel that you can be authentic with me and with this group of women, deeply from the bottom of my heart. So we're going to open it up for questions soon. We're going to open it up for Q&A soon. And we're also in a moment going to step into a little bit deeper into collaboration. How do you reach way beyond your current audience and establish yourself as the go-to woman leader in your field? We're going to be talking more deeply about that and the key ingredient to touch more hearts and grow your following. But give me just a second. I'm going to go ahead and take a sip. So we're going into the Q&A, we're going into those bonuses in just a moment. Before we do that, I just want to take a breath with you. And I want to invite you into something special. I have something special for you. I want you to just take a moment, kind of like we did at the beginning of the call, to just close your eyes and imagine that you are embodying a beautiful life where it's easy to live in the Bay Area and thrive here. You are embodying a life where you feel nourished and cared for by your business. You have true energetic nourishment from your programs, your workshops, your offerings. You feel true nourishment from your clients. There's balance in your money and effort and time exchange. You have the support of a beautiful tribe of women who are dedicated to your work, getting out into the world. Just take a breath into that. And I want you to imagine that you have a relaxed schedule that allows for downtime, family time. Your relaxed schedule is also profitable, that you have ease in filling your workshops and your programs, that you are receiving treasure maps to turn your ideas into money-making structures. And what I want for you is to stop trying to fill your practice and programs and workshops alone. Stop trying to build your business alone. Stop trying to work it out on your own. Stop trying to manifest all alone. Stop looping on tasks that won't matter in the long run. Stop trying to make money only with a one-on-one practice. Stop efforting and doing and letting unrecognized opportunities pass by while you're blinded with stress and overwhelm. So my invitation for you, completely no pressure, is I would like to invite you to hop on the phone with me one-on-one. This is complimentary, no cost. And it is to find out more about working with me as your business coach and also joining my business mastery circles for women lightworkers. No pressure. I'm going to give you all of the information you need and answer all of your questions. All you have to do is click this link that I'm about to put into your chat box here. Click this link and schedule our connection call right now while we're on this Zoom call together. If you would like to double or measurably grow your business this year with holistic feminine systems, please schedule your heart connection call with me. My programs are affordable, they're transformational, and they are all about women coming together and linking arms and rising up together. So click the link and book right now. This invitation is going to go away when we end the call. The link will disappear. What you'll learn in my business mastery circles is definitely how to build the speaking path of your business, attracting divine right clients who want to go deeper over time through teaching, through sharing wisdom live and online. You'll also connect with speaking opportunities if that's what you want through the networking lunches. Being able to make a powerful request from the other women to connect you with speaking opportunities. Some of the women in the circle actually speak at my FemTalks events, so that's a possibility for you. You're also going to learn how to grow your email list. You're going to receive certainly loving accountability and community. We're also going to work around the email marketing piece, creating inspiring, humanity-centered marketing, touching hearts and attracting signups and clients. I'm also going to teach you how to fill your workshops and webinars. For those of you that want to do workshops and webinars, how do you fill those workshops and webinars? The art of enrollment. You're going to get a blueprint for that enrollment conversation that we were talking about. I'm also going to give you lots of support on how to price, structure, position your packages, your programs, so you can actually work deeper with clients and elevate your lifestyle. And we even go into really fun stuff about how to create an exotic destination retreat or how to create a VIP program. So we can be really fun with your business. We definitely focus on tribal marketing. I have an entire suite of beautiful tools around collaboration and tribal marketing. And even giving you training and resources to write and publish your book. A lot of women come into my circles and happen to write and publish their books while they're in circle with me. So, so this is a circle of solution-oriented women who will hold all of the keys to all of the answers for all of the questions that you might be holding. And I want you to use this circle, should you choose to join, to highlight your unique path to success. So in a moment, I'm going to give you your bonus teaching points. We're going to go into Q&A, but I just want to take a moment to appreciate you again. I want to appreciate you all for taking the time to be here today. I know that just by being here means that you are committed to your unfolding in your business. You're committed to growing your business. You're committed to growing as a woman light worker. If you're actively looking for guidance, if you want to noticeably double your business this year, if you would like to work with me as your business coach, if you'd like a circle of high vibration women to help you figure out your business, your way, and if you're solution oriented, then please schedule your heart connection call with me to find out more about joining my transformational business mastery circles. This is your year, or at least it truly, truly can be. I want you to feel financially taken care of by your business. And you have nothing to lose. It's free. This call with me will also give you clarity. Just having this call with me, the questions I'm going to ask you, you're going to come up with some clarity around your business and your next steps. And I'm very loving, no pressure. So click the link, book now. And yeah, thank you. And I'm already seeing some of your schedules come through. So thank you for those of you that have already scheduled. Yay, awesome. I think I have a couple of slots this week, but most of them are next week and the week after. So yay. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to your bonuses. Bonus information. Can I get a hey for bonuses? All right. So bonus number one it's kind of like not really a bonus. It's the fourth feminine path to add $20,000 to $100,000 to your income this year. But I want to elaborate on it as the number one way that wealthy women healers attract clients, and that you can actually immediately start doing. So, oh, Liz, you didn't miss anything. I'm just getting to the number 4 path. Liz is like, I went to the bathroom. Did I miss anything? You didn't miss anything, girl. Liz actually just joined my business mastery circle today. She just joined today. So welcome, Liz. Okay, so the fourth feminine path is, I'm just going to call it cross-promoting, but you could also call it collaboration. Collaboration. Why? Because it is also incredibly relational. It is all about relationship building. As I mentioned, my business is completely built on collaboration. I'm going to tell you, give you an example. I don't have a beautiful picture of her right here, but most of you know Charla Jacobs. Charla Jacobs and Jessie Corin lead the Thrive Academy. I've been a business partner of theirs for almost 10 years, and I've learned a lot from them. They have a 7-figure business. They are heart entrepreneurs. They're lovely to deal with. In fact, Charla's speaking at my next FemTalks event in April 8th in Berkeley. So Charla, I want to just tell you about this. I really want you to hear this. So Charla's a millionaire. She's a millionaire business centered around holistic business, supporting holistic entrepreneurs. She, when she creates her Client Attraction Summit, which is a 3-day workshop that I've been to, many of you have been to, super fun. Oftentimes there's like 100, 200, 300 people who attend those events. Like, it's packed, it's fun, we're dancing, it's a lot of Now, when she does her client attraction summit, she probably has at least 1 to 2 dozen people promoting that client attraction summit for her. I'm one of those people. I promote her client attraction summit sometimes. So she's got at least a dozen, if not more, people promoting that event for her. And that's how she gets 100, 200, 300 people in the room. Now, she's not out there running around like a chicken with her head cut off trying to get 300 people in the room. What she does is about twice a month, she hops onto the phone with her with a strategic partner. So I'm one of her strategic partners. So with me, she'll hop on the phone once a year. If she has 24 strategic partners, that means a couple times a month, she's having a little heart conversation with each of her cheerleaders, with each of her strategic partners. And she's just heart connecting. We're just heart connecting. The conversation goes something like this: how can I support you? How would you like to support me? And we just come up with our own perfect way of supporting each other. I promote her programs, she promotes Fem Talks, and we create a win-win partnership that works really well for each of us. And she basically does this with like a dozen or so people, which sounds like a lot, but over the course of the year, that means she's hopping on the phone twice a month. Twice a month, she's hopping on the phone, each time with a different person, a different partner, heart connecting, and creating those collaborative agreements so that every time she has a client attraction summit, she's got a dozen or 2 dozen people saying, hey, come to Charla's client attraction summit. Now, there are different kinds of collaborations. Cross-promoting, I'll promote your workshop, you promote my workshop. That's the example that I just gave with Charla. Another great collaboration is summits, which I mentioned before with Tara Christoph and Laura Cornell. They both brought all these beautiful women together for a summit. Part of the agreement of that summit was that those women would also share that summit with their email list. Everyone gets to grow their email list. That's awesome. Another great collaboration is sharing free gifts. Okay, Kavita, I'll share your free gift on your website with my lovely ladies because I know that they need your help. And you share my free gift with your lovely ladies because you know they need my help. So we're resourcing our clients, our networks with each other's awesome free gifts. You can also, another collaboration, powerful client referral partners. This is like the oldest collaboration in the book. I have a dear friend, Christelle. She's actually not a client, but she's like a colleague. Christelle has a lovely, spacious, 6-figure business that's completely based on client referrals. She has some powerful partnerships that she has curated over the years, and those people send her all the clients she needs. Wouldn't that be powerful to just sit back and receive all of your clients through client referral partnerships? Final collaboration, this is exciting. Go ahead and raise your hand if you have a book in you, if you'd like to write and publish a book someday. Go ahead and raise your hand if you'd like to write and publish a book. Awesome. Or you can write in the chat box if we can't see you. Beautiful. One of the most powerful ways to get your book to the bestseller list is to have a team of cheerleaders promoting your book for you. So what you would do is set a launch date. It might be your Amazon bestseller day, and to have a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen people, which is a lot, but you know, it's worth it to get your book out there. On that day, they're going to go ahead and promote your book to their email list, Facebook, to Instagram, to wherever, to their grandma, through text, I don't know. That those people are all on that same day promoting your book is a powerful way to get your book to the bestseller list. So imagine if over the next year, you were to connect with 5 people. We're going to do final math here. 5 people. And each of those people had email lists of 5,000 subscribers. 5 people, 5,000 subscribers. That equals 25,000 total And what if those 5 people said, hey, come to Jean Marie's workshop, come to Gail's workshop, come to Anna's retreat, come to Abigail's webinar, come to Nancy's circle. If those 5 people sent that invitational, heartfelt email to their list, to those 25,000 people, imagine the flood of attendees, clients that would be coming to you. You get to just sit back and receive. And that all happened because you had 5 conversations over the course of a year, or whatever, 6 months, or however fast you want to do it. So that feels relaxed to me. Okay, over the next year, I'm gonna intend to create 5 strategic partnerships with people that I resonate with. We're gonna heart connect and we're gonna support each other. That would more than fill your business. Incredible. So awesome. I'm gonna open up for Q&A in just a moment. I want to give you the second bonus, which might feel like wah, 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 but it's so important, and we kind of talked about it earlier. Bonus number 2, that was bonus number 1, collaboration station. I would love for you to dedicate your entire business to collaboration. That would be game-changing for most of you. Bonus number 2, the key ingredient to touch more hearts and grow your following. Some of you are going to be like, Jessica, why? Final bonus, oh yeah, market research. So we actually talked about this a little bit earlier, because it is heartbreaking to watch women create workshops, talks, programs, circles, summits even, that fall flat. Right? You do everything right. At least you think you're doing everything right. You create a program, you create a circle, you create something, and it just goes. Oftentimes, it's because the tools that we mentioned earlier, some of those tools have not been refined, but many times it's because you didn't do market research. Market research is like a dry term. I don't love the term, but that's what it's called. It's comes from you being very curious and asking a lot of questions of people who represent your ideal clients before you build your program. So you want to ask them questions about, what do you know you deeply need to learn? What keeps you, what stresses you out? Let's say you're a health coach. You would want to ask questions like, what are the main negative ripple effects of your illness or of not feeling well? How does your illness impact your relationship with your children or your partner or your career? Like, to be willing to ask the deep, vulnerable questions of people who have said yes to being a market research interviewee, having some interviews, interviewing some people that you already know, love, and trust, and that already know, love, and trust you, and have agreed to be interviewed, and really asking some deep questions. And then taking the words and phrases that they use and turning that into your marketing, turning that into the words and phrases that you use when you're out in the world networking, the words and phrases that you use when you're giving your talk or teaching your webinars, the words and phrases that you use when you're doing your email marketing, the words and the components of your group program. As practitioners, as healers, we know what our clients need, but the way that we talk about it is often different than the way our clients talk about it, or it's different than the way that they can hear it. And so we actually need to ask them, how would you describe this? What do you need? What do you want? And then take notes and use their words when you're out in the world marketing yourself. So that's huge, because when you do that and you're giving a talk, people feel like, oh, she's talking directly to me. They feel that heart connection, and it's authentic because it actually came from a deep place of curiosity and a deep place of caring. So when you're when you're out there connecting in the world with your network, if you haven't done some market research, consider as your homework setting up some interviews where you can just be curious and listen and take notes. There's more I could say about that, but I think I've said enough because I want to open it up for Q&A. Whew. So, how are you? How are you feeling? So let's go ahead and get some questions. I think what I'd like to do, we're actually a smaller group than we were last time we came together last month. I'm not going to do another one of these until the fall. So I'm so glad that you're here. Go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question. We don't need to do the chat box unless you prefer that. So go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question. You can say, hi, I'm so-and-so, here's my question. Gail.
Hi, yeah, I'm Gail. I put my little question in the chat box already. I'm curious about what would motivate somebody who already has 5,000 people on their email list to partner with me. I know why I want to partner with them. And, you know, I'm wonderful, et cetera, et cetera. But in terms of a business move for them, what's their motivation to connect with me?
That's such a great question. That's an awesome